re-elected Eastern Cape ANC chairperson Oscar Mabuyane says there won't be issues around divisions within the party after a turbulent elective conference. Mabuyane, who's also the Eastern Cape Premier, was re-elected as provincial chairperson after the 9th conference marred by delays and disruptions. He beat fellow contender Babalo Madikizela by 150 votes.
Forward to 2024. We don't have time. I can tell you there will be no issues after the conference of division in the province. People will go back to their structures, regions, sub-regions, clusters, zones, as well as branches. Focus on branches, build strong ANC. We've seen branches of the ANC here in the province still getting more than 90% support in deep rural areas and also in our peri-urban areas. So we'll be focusing on that. As we were winning elections as well in the last week in the by-elections, that still shows that the leadership of the ANC in the province, even the outgoing one, has been enjoying a really amazing support across the socio-political spectrum or socio-economic spectrum.
Well, let's stay with that story. I'm joined now by Khanya Vilakazi, a political analyst from the University of Mpumalanga. Khanya, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Look, quite a turbulent conference, but the outcome very much celebrated, at least by Oscar Mabuyane and those that would have been in his corner to win this race. Your own predictions of the rest of the road, and I mean here, this is in the lead up to the end of your conference.
I think this is a victory for the Eastern Cape, whether or not other people didn't emerge, but it shows that the ANC within the province was hotly contested, and ANC people do agree that even if there were two factions going into conference, when they leave conference, they will emerge as one. And there have been pronouncements by certain leaders of the Eastern Cape ANC about their preferred national leadership when the time comes to open up nomination for national leadership of the ANC.
The party, of course, is talking about renewal. We know that both Oscar Mabuyane and, the other contender, Babalo Madikizela, are still facing an investigation by the Hawks because they both alleged to have benefited from monies linked to the funeral service of the late stalwart, Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Now, the Hawks have been saying that they're finalizing the investigation. We can expect an outcome soon. What happens if official charges are brought against Mabuyane? Because, the public protector report basically found him guilty of having unduly benefited.
Well, until charges have been formally laid on Oscar Mabuyane, only then can he step aside as per the step-aside guidelines of the ANC. But up until then, he can still proceed as the leader of the ANC and as the Premier of the Eastern Cape representing the ANC. So it's not going to be much of a shift thus far up until the NPA institutes his charges and he's formally indicted.
What does it do for a message of renewal? Because Mabuyane himself, reflecting on the state of the party, talked about a loss in credibility for the ANC, a need to show the ANC's own commitment to some of the issues that society has raised. This was during the weekend as he marked the opening of this conference.
Kathy, I think the sad thing about the ANC, especially in the Eastern Cape, as alluded to by Lungisa yesterday, was the fact that it has lost its credibility to be the forerunners in terms of policy discussions of the ANC. Everybody outside of the Eastern Cape, including myself and members of the media, have just been following the contested issues in terms of leadership. Nothing substantial came in terms of policy positions, in terms of what policies the ANC in the Eastern Cape wants to put forward. And that's just a big travesty if the ANC is speaking about renewal. What are they renewing? Are they renewing themselves their leadership, or are they renewing their image in terms of being the forerunners in terms of policy of the ANC?
We've been speaking to Khanya Vilakazi, political analyst at the University of Mpumalanga.